we're supposed to write and research 15 pages before next week.
It won't be that bad. We can work on it together.
Yeah, but I'm pretty busy. Like, I have a chem test, a paper, and a math project.
Yeah, I have a lot going on too. I have work almost every day this week and volunteering this weekend. Once we get it started, we'll be able to finish it.
That's the thing. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I know about climate change, but no specifics.
Actually, I've been keeping up with the news lately, and I've looked into climate change. I learned some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I did do a paper in high school. Maybe I can find some things about that.
Yeah, like I said, I've been reading into global climate change, and I think I have some ideas.
Oh yeah, like what?
The effects on the environment, people, food quality, extreme weather conditions, and how we can prevent these things from happening.
Yeah, I was watching the news the other day, and they were talking about wildfires and how it causes pollution to the air. That doesn't seem great for us.
Yeah, and if it doesn't harm humans, it definitely harms animals in their homes. I learned that in my animal psychology class.
Yeah, and then in chemistry, we learned about greenhouse gases. I bet that has something to do with it, too.
Wow, we are smarter than we think. We should bounce ideas off each other more often.
Yeah, you're right. I know a lot more about this than I thought.
We should get together sometime when we both have time to do some research.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I'll text you later. We can get some dinner.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you later.
See ya. Hey, sorry I'm late. I just forgot some stuff at home.
No, it's totally fine. I just got here a few minutes ago and I just have few math problem left, so I don't know how long I should be here.
Oh, that's totally fine. I haven't really started my paper yet, and I haven't really even started typing it, so I should be here a while.
Oh yeah, what are you working on?
It's a paper from my weather and climate class.
So do you have any specific topic on that?
I'm thinking about doing something on the effects of climate change, and I know some other people are doing reports on how it works and the causes, but that seems too complicated.
Yeah, it's pretty complicated. I learned about climate change in my biology class. It's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, what are you guys covering?
We learned about how greenhouse gases affect climate change and how the ozone is disappearing.
Did you learn anything else?
I don't remember much from that class, but I also took this class called Weather and Climate. And we learned that actually children affect more than adults for climate change.
Oh yeah, why is that?
I think one of the reasons is children have less effective heat adaptation due to their size and bodies. So we can see that why they will definitely be more affected than adults.
Oh yeah, I would never have thought about that.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Even the current global burden of climate-related disease for children is already high. Can you imagine if the high global warming?
Oh, what is a climate-related disease?
Well, I think the main example will be malnutrition. I mean, World Health Organization estimates that there are more than 88% of children-related disease is due to climate change.
Well, now that I know that people, especially children, are affected, I'll probably keep that in mind for my paper. Thanks.
No problem.
Hey, do you actually know of ways of preventing malnutrition?
Well, I think the best thing would be to prevent climate change at the very first place. If there isn't an increase in temperature, then definitely the children will be safer. And there are already people who are trying to address this world hunger and these diseases, but I think definitely climate change is the main cause here.
Yeah, you're right. Climate is the big picture. I think that's at least good motivation to start solving global warming.
Well, I'm done with my math problem. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, I'll see how much I can get done first, and if I need any more help, I'll let you know.
Okay, no problem. See you later.
See ya.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, how are you?
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I am having a busy week with like papers and exams and stuff.
Oh, really? I just got done with my exam last week. What paper do you guys have to read?
Lauren and I have a paper in weather and climate class due at the end of the week. We need to write a 15-page paper on climate change.
15 pages? The most I've ever had to do is like 3 pages. How much do you guys have done?
I only have 10 pages done so far.
Really? 10? I only have 6. I'm having a really hard time finding resources.
Well, my aunt's in the DNR.
DNR, what's that?
It's Department of Natural Resources. Anyway, she's been working in Texas the past few summers with the University of Texas. They've been looking at 1,700 species and how their territories and their behaviors are affected by climate change. And it turns out the species have been migrating about 6 kilometers further to the poles every decade. And their spring events have been occurring 2.3 days earlier every decade.
What does that have to do with climate change, though?
I think it shows that they are slowly migrating to a cooler place, away from the equator.
Yeah, because to them, spring seems to be coming sooner, so they start doing things earlier.
Exactly. Animals are showing effects to the subtle and steady climate changes. But it's not just animals. Many other species are being affected as well, including plants.
You know what? I just read about plants adapting to climate change. They're having difficulties keeping up with it, causing some of them to become extinct and others to just decrease in genetic diversity.
If all these other species know about climate change, why don't humans? Because, frankly, I haven't heard about any of this before I started doing this project, and it seems to be a pretty big problem.
I know, right? Do you think people will come into their sense in time?
I sure hope so, because I can't imagine what would happen if we didn't.
Can you imagine having to put up with intense storms and weather, extreme temperatures, and rising sea levels that are slowly consuming the coast? We would be helpless then.
That would be awful. But I still think there's hope. I mean, all we have to do is make sure people are educated on the subject, and we all gotta just learn what we can do to help.
Yeah, I agree, but from what I've been reading, climate can change so abruptly if it reaches certain thresholds.
What do you mean by crossing threshold?
Like, think about if you're sitting in a canoe. You can lean closer and closer to one side before falling over, but at some point you're going to lean too far and you're going to fall right into the water, tipping the canoe over.
Definitely. That's a good analogy on climate change. There's a scenario that acts as positive feedback, which can rapidly change the environment.
Oh, you mean when snow accumulates to a point where it can resist melting and it forms like thick ice sheet? Or even there's a loss in vegetation where it occurs, like there's like water flowing to ocean and streams, and eventually led to the loss of vegetation.
Exactly.
I see what you mean. We don't necessarily know how certain variables may affect others.
I'm glad I'm not in the class. If not, I have a reading to do next week.
Lucky. I have a couple more pages to write. I have to get going.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for all the suggestions. It will be really helpful for finishing my paper. Could you send your aunt's research to me somehow?
Yeah, no problem. I'll email it to you just as soon as me and Fatina are done eating and we'll head back to our dorm.
All right, thanks. I'll
Yeah,
see you
no
guys
problem.
later.
Yep, later.
Bye-bye. Hey.
Hey.
Can't believe it's finally over. 15 pages. Pretty proud of myself.
Yeah, you bet. I feel like I know so much more than I did a week ago.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I learned from the study this guy named Pats did that climate change is really causing forced migration due to the extreme weather conditions. It also causes political instability and economic difficulties.
Nice. I learned about the effects on health and the environment. It's a crazy thought that the plant population is decreasing so much because we need plants to survive.
Yeah, for sure. Photosynthesis is one of the most important processes. I mean, plants' ability to convert CO2 and water into oxygen is just amazing.
You would think that the increase in CO2 would be helpful to the plants, but I guess if they can't keep up with it, it's harmful. Now that I think of it, we need to act and do stuff now so that we can turn this around.
Yeah, I think lowering the CO2 emissions would be a good start.
One study I read that was done in China gave ways on how we can do this. One way he proposed was that we can develop a low-carbon economy with low energy consumption, low pollution, and low CO2 emissions.
Yeah, you're right. Like, even if we don't live in places like the coral reefs, we should really start helping. This study I saw by this guy named Hughes, he proposed that we have wealthier countries start donating money to help increase the proportion of coral reefs that are under the no-take policy, because this would really help lower the emission level too.
I agree. Like I said before, we really need to start acting now before our planet is destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, even though I learned so much, summer vacation sounds great.
Yeah, it really does. I only have one more exam and I'm done. Do you have any plans?
No, I didn't, but I think I'm going to start acting and helping the environment, maybe sell my car, buy a smart car, or just ride my bike some places.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be that extreme, but I can really start recycling more often.
Yeah, whatever we can do to help.